The experience of a Shiva is a complete lunacy asylum, I think. People coming in, people going out. You have to concentrate to actually understand what people are talking to you, because so many people come and so many have different stories to tell, and you try, and each of them jumps in time. Each of them jump in time and tell you a story from a completely different period, and you go from the university to the yeshiva and to the high school and back on and to the army and so forth, about three dozen times a day at least. And it's your head gets a bit messed up.
And when is it that you stop and just think on your own about the loss? It's maybe in the evening after people go home.
When I have some time, to think. Actually, I'm very grateful I don't have all the time to think. I don't want it to sound as if I'm caustic. I'm grateful for anyone who comes and tells me a story about my brother, who tells my parents things we didn't know about their son. We really wanted to know everything that could been told about Eitam, and we really learned a great deal, and we'll continue and learn, I believe, in the following weeks and months about who he was and who Naama was. We'll probably hear some more stories once we get to Neria and sit together with Mishpachat Harmoni.
Is there any unique feeling with the fact that it's not just any random death?
I don't know, I never tried it before. Of course we know it's not a random death. Does it help us? Hard to say. There is some knowing that we know it was part of the bigger Palestinian-Israeli, Arab-Israeli conflict, but we tried to keep the funerals personal, not to turn it into a political event, because it was our Eitam and our Naama, and we didn't want to lose hold of them to turn the mourning only into a national event. Of course it's a national event, but it's only a personal event, and we try to remember both of them.
Now, in addition to being a bereaved brother, a grieving brother today, you and your siblings you need to be responsible uncles and aunts, and what can you tell us about that role during these days, taking care of the nephews?
And right now, personally, I have a very limited role. I don't see my nephews most of the time. When they're here, they have enough to do, and I have enough to do, and I don't spend much time with them. I'm sure we will shape a role for ourselves. The families together will shape roles for each one of us. Those would be dynamic and changing roles, and we'll do our best to keep their life as normal as possible.
So when people ask you, so who was Eitam? It's as you say, you're doing a big documentation and it's so many stories, but what are the first things that come to mind when people ask you, so who was your brother?
It of course depends who you will ask. If you'll ask his PhD sponsor, then he was first and foremost an history scholar. If you'll ask people who learned Torah with him, he was first and foremost a rabbi and Talmid Chacham. If you'll ask me, they are both right and they are both wrong, because he was first and foremost everything. He tried to be his best in everything he did. That is true for Naama too. She excelled in her own field. As a graphic designer, as a businesswoman, she was, at a young age of 30, she was an inspiration to other businesswomen. She created support rings and so forth. They were together great parents, loving couple. It's all of the things together. And as I said in my eulogy, he was a jester too.
Now, just last question, as you're documenting and putting everything together, it's much more than just to remember, but it's also to learn from them?
Yes, because in his young age, Eitam was murdered in the age of 31. He already managed to publish one halachic book, another history book with Rabbi Avram Wasserman. Another history book will be published next year, and he has now another halachic book in the print. It's finished, it's going through its processes, and it would be probably published in a few months. Apart from that, he wrote some 40 articles, both halachic and academic, seriously researched articles. That is more than enough for a whole career for some people. And apart from that, he was involved in editing the letters and answers of my great-grandfather, and he was having a halachic exchange with many rabbis. So there's much to do, to edit, to decide what is still to find out, not to decide. We don't know yet. We didn't finish to look through his computer what should be published, what isn't complete, what can be completed. We have a lot of work to do.
That's a strengthful way to live on with him.
I don't think it's a way to live on with him. I think it's a fact that his death took from the Jewish people one of the great rabbis of the next generation, and he left more than enough things that should be published, and we just want to do it.